Kevin grew up in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, blue-collar steel mill town, and it has a few things that it's famous for. Arnold Palmer, Rolling Rock beer. Also, Kevin often talks about the fact that his great-aunt used to babysit Mr. Rogers when Mr. Rogers was a young child. So Latrobe is just a small town where people know each other, and it's just a really important place to him even today. After we got married, we were living in Charlottesville, Virginia, and then a job opportunity came up at UNC, and Kevin said, you know what, I think I'm going to go down and check it out. On the first night that he arrived, he was invited to 411 West for dinner. And he walked in, and they invited Kevin to order a drink. And Kevin felt a little bit put on the spot. And he tells this story often, that he decided his passion for Latrobe and the birthplace of Rolling Rock beer and his love of beer, maybe that's how to begin. So he said, you know what, I'll have a Rolling Rock, because it was brewed in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, and that's where I'm from. And everyone ordered a Rolling Rock, and right then and there, connections were made.
I first got to know Kevin about 2 months ago when I started as president of the University of North Carolina system. It seems like about a decade ago. We've been through a lot together, but Kevin is a very compassionate, caring leader, very thoughtful in his approach, very humble. He listens well. Seasons of hardship can often be opportunities for reinvention, and I believe Kevin Guskiewicz is going to be a great chancellor for Chapel Hill.
I would say the overarching theme for Kevin is that he makes relationships that last, and he cares very deeply about people.
As I've gotten to know Kevin, he goes out of his way to make people feel comfortable. As a Leo, I always think it's about me, but I recognize he doesn't just do that for me. I've seen him do that for other people.
When Kevin puts trust in individuals, it gives them an immediate sense of empowerment. It's about the team and how the collective good can work together to achieve an outcome.
Kevin's had lots of students that he's mentored over the years.
I reached out to Kevin initially, given his expertise in the area of sport-related concussion, not expecting to hear back from this international scholar, this expert in his field, and I got a response pretty quickly. And that was the impetus prompting me to pursue that condition as part of my graduate education and ultimately my PhD training and now my academic career. As I fast forward 16 years of working with him and knowing him. That's classic Kevin, right? It's giving you a picture of where you can be at some point in your career and then setting you up to reach that.
Jason is the co-director of the Matthew Gefeller Sports Medicine Center with Kevin, and they have teamed up together to do some great research.
When I started here as a student, we immediately became part of the Guskiewicz family. I was a PhD student when Kevin and Amy traveled to Vietnam to adopt Tessa. And I remember having, Skype conversations with them while they're in the hotel room with Tessa, waiting for the documentation so they can bring her back here to the United States. So all of these very fond memories.
We're flying out to San Francisco, and I decided I'd take the first flight out because I figured there'd be a lot of UNC people, and I like to sleep on that 6 o'clock flight. We get on the plane. Guess who's sitting literally across the aisle from me? Kevin Guskiewicz. And so then I lean over and I said, you know what, Kevin, I'm not one to talk to people in the morning. He looks at me and says, Bernard, thank God it's you. I'm not either. We fist bump, and the next thing I know, we landed. He's a real person. He's got real character. He cares. And he's made it his business to get to know the fraternity system, the Black fraternity system, and understand it from the inside out. And as a result, when he talks about diversity, and he talks about people of color, he talks about it from a frame of reference of being an insider. And so one of the reasons that I am so fond of Kevin is, in a different world, I'd call him G.
People are important to Kevin, and this role as Chancellor of UNC Chapel Hill is all about the people.
I think Kevin is becoming Chancellor at a time that this university has been challenged more than it has in the past. Kevin has done in a Chancellor role what I've always known him to do, which is build incredible teams to accomplish objectives. And I can't think of anyone better to be at the helm than Kevin.